Hi guys, it is Sahara back with a whip sold video. I'm a couple days late, I know, but I'm finally getting on here. Today I'm sharing my sales from August 1st through August 7th. It was quite a bit slower for this week of sales. I'm not sure if that's just seasonality or if that's just, back to school time. People are really busy. I'm not sure what it is. Maybe I wasn't listing enough. I'm not sure. But things are picking up for this next week that we've been going into. So hopefully the next week I come, it'll be a little bit better. I still had some really cool sales for the week of August 1st to August 7th. A couple really rare bolo brands that you definitely want to know about and keep an eye out for. So let's get right into it. I did a total of $1,022 in sales for this week. So definitely a decrease from both of the weeks before that I did, but still a good number ultimately that I'm happy with doing this part-time as a stay-at-home homeschooling mom who's also halfway through my pregnancy and all that. I'm still happy with those numbers and think it's a good return for how much work I'm putting into my business. So let's get right into it. So first up, I want to show you, this was a style-based pickup. This was actually a Talbot skirt in a size 2 petite. So I would usually never pick up Talbots in such a small size, but I thought this looked really like fairy core, kind of flowy, like Y2K-ish style, something people on Depop would like. So I grabbed this at the bins. It was listed for probably a few months, and I got an offer for like $11 and I just took it because it came from the bin. So I would absolutely still pick up pieces like this. I still have a couple other ones listed, I think, for a little more. I definitely think they're worth grabbing. This was a really small size, but it still sold fairly quickly, whereas a lot of extra small, super tiny pieces, even in desirable brands and stuff, can take forever to sell. So I'm very picky with those sizes. All right, next up, I just want to show you this. I've started selling these just in the last few months, really, and especially I've kicked it up in back to school season. These are just kids clothing lots that I grab mostly from the bins. I try to grab brands like Old Navy, Art Class, Cat and Jack, like kind of like Target, Old Navy-ish brands. I try to pick cuter styles. I mostly do girls just because you find so much more girl clothes. But I do boys too, in brands like Nike, Vans, Quicksilver. I try to just do nicer brands that are a little pricier to buy new, and then I'll lot up, like this was 7 pieces and I had it priced at 22 and I accepted an offer for 19. So it's not a huge sale, but they have been selling really quickly and really consistently in this back to school season because they are a necessity, and everybody knows we're going through a hard time economically for a lot of families. So if you can list items that are more of a necessity, I think that's really important to find those types of items and include those in your business just to boost your sales. And so these pieces, I added it up one day, just averaging my cost of goods for all the items I got at the bins, and my cost of goods was like 80 cents an item. And these are smaller, so realistically, these are actually costing me probably like 50 cents an item. So this lot of 7 probably cost me $3.50 and I made $19 off it. So not a bad return. Okay, so this was a little bit of a blunder on my part, but I wanted to share it anyways because if you got them at a good price, it would still be worth it. These are some kids' Nike Air Jordan sneakers. They were in really nice condition. I saw these at Goodwill and I looked at them and I was like, oh, $4.99? Like, that's a great price. And I got them home and started checking them out. And then I realized I had paid $14.99 for them, which I certainly would not have bought kids' sneakers for that much. But anyways, they still sold in just like a week or so for $30. At that point, I just wanted to get my money back when I realized they were only worth $30 to $40 and I'd paid 15 bucks for them. Someone sent me an offer for 30 and I was like, okay, I'll just take that. But if you're at the bins or a kids consignment sale or somewhere cheaper, definitely worth picking up kids Jordan sneakers. They always perform really well. Okay, next up, just a bra. I always pick up bras by this brand. It's called Wacol. I always pick them up at the bins. So this probably was so cheap, probably cost me like 50 cents or less, and it sold for $15. I sell this brand all the time so consistently. The little number right here 855186 is like the style number, and you can just type that in eBay and it'll give you exact comps. And most of these range from $15 to $20 is what you can get for them. Okay, next up is a basic cashmere piece. I found this at the bins a few weeks back. Found like a whole stack of cashmere. It was insane. And they were all like super basic, some of them very vintage brands and stuff, but they're all worth about, $20 to $30. I accepted an offer for $18 on this one, but it's just an example of what you should be grabbing for fall and winter. Anything 100% cashmere, definitely grab it. Okay, this was the bolo brand I found. So it's called, on the tag, it just said Wall Men. And the way this tag is stitched, I could tell it was a nicer brand and it was 100% linen. And the style of it was so cool. So I just grabbed these and threw them in my cart. I found 2 of them. When I got them home, I couldn't find a lot about this Woolman brand on eBay. There was maybe a couple sold and the prices ranged a lot. Like some people sold them for like $30 and some people sold them for like $100. And there were really only a couple. So I went to Poshmark and looked and I saw people were selling them and they included the name of this, Gorsuch. And I guess that is like a store that carries this brand specifically. And the store itself is what makes it a little more desirable, and it's very, very high end. These pieces probably retailed for $300 to $400. They were both a little different, but they both sold within literally like just a couple days of me listing them. I had them listed for $75 and $65, and I only went till I accepted an offer for $65 on this one and $55 for this one. And the reason I listed this one a little lower was it had a very, very small stain on the back. But yeah, so these were really cool style linen pieces. Definitely something I would be on the lookout for. And that Gorsuch brand that is so high end, it's a European company. They have like a whole website and store where they carry a lot of different brands in this kind of style. So it would be worth going to their website, I think, and kind of looking over the brands and maybe educating yourself a bit so you know what to look out for. Okay. So next was another cool find, but this beautiful Sundance dress at the bins. I found 2 the same day and they were both extra large. This one had like a linen outer shell and they both had like a lining, but it was like a detachable slip lining. So that was cool. This sold in just a couple days for $45. So I was happy with that. This was a dress I got for free and like a lot of clothing someone gave my husband. And not something I would usually pick up, but it was a 100% silk dress. And I think like 100% silk stuff is kind of like doing a little better since a lot of the early 2000s styles that are so popular were made of silk. And so this actually sold for $20. Yeah, just something to keep in mind. And like a basic, really minimalist looking 100% silk dress in a larger size might be worth grabbing at the right price. And I got this for free. And it sold in probably like a month. Okay, next up is a Lululemon tank top. I went in Goodwill and I just like literally looked at like the tiniest section of the tank top rack right when I walked in and I saw this and I just like started touching it because the material felt nice and it was actually inside out. So as I was looking at it, then I realized it was inside out and I looked and I saw the little Lululemon symbol and I was like, no way, I literally just walked in the store. How did I already find Lululemon? This didn't have a size on it anywhere I could find, so I just estimated. It definitely looked like a large. And this sold in just a couple days for $23. So definitely familiarize yourself with the materials of the items you're looking for. That has helped me so much in my business. If I can just feel something and know it's something high end that I need to investigate further. Okay. Or on the other hand, feel something and know that it's cheap and you can just throw it back down. Okay, this is a Barefoot Dream sweater. I found a couple of these pieces lately and they've been selling really quickly. So that gives me hope people are starting to look for more cozy fall, winter pieces. That's what the tag looks like. And once again, this is a very distinctive material that their pieces are made of. I listed this for $20 and it sold fairly quickly for $18. Okay, these were some Bionic shoes. This particular style was a little more rare on eBay. It's called the Lavelle. And with Bionic, like their super basic sandals don't go for a lot, but they do still sell consistently for me in the summertime. But more substantial styles like these platform wedges, these are something I usually look up if I see them at Goodwill for like $8 or so. And I think that's what I bought these for. I did buy them at the regular Goodwill, and these had a lot of interest, so I kind of tried to hold like firm on my price, and I'm glad I did because they did sell in just a couple months for my full price of $37. So definitely a good find. Okay, next up, I grabbed this at the bins, and I went back and forth on whether or not to pick it up because it wasn't anything special, but at the same time, I know these just vintage sweaters with nicer materials like mohair are often worth grabbing, and I'm trying to fill my shop with more fall, winter styles. So I did wind up getting it, and I was really happy it sold in just a couple days for like $19 on the offer I received. So that was great because the comps were amazing. Like I didn't bother looking at this brand because it wasn't anything significant or special, but I just typed in like vintage, fuzzy, mohair sweaters, and there was like 2,000 listed and only like a few hundred sold, but I knew that's like from summertime. So I'm like, I'm just gonna grab it. It's the bins. And I was honestly shocked how fast it sold. So I'll definitely keep an eye out for styles like that again. Okay, next up, one of my favorite brands. I've only ever found this once before. This time I found it at the regular Goodwill, so I paid about $5.99. This is the brand called Ares. It is a European swimwear brand, and they retail for about like $400 for these swimsuits, and they're worn by a lot of celebrities like the Kardashians and stuff. So very desirable swimwear brand. Not a lot out there. When you look them up on eBay, there will maybe be like 10 or 15 listed at a time. This was even in a size 12, so definitely worth grabbing. I ran a sale on my eBay store, so it was down to $120. I originally had it listed at $160. I'm sure I could have held out and got that, but since summer and swim season was kind of coming into an end, somebody sent me an offer for $100, and I just gladly took it because, like I said, sales were so slow this week. So I was eager to sell things. And yeah, definitely keep an eye out for that brand. I found it once before, and it is like one of my favorite brands to find, probably. Okay, next up, another one I grabbed at the bins that literally sold like same day I listed it. So this is the brand Storybook Knits. And there's a lot out there in this brand like listed. And I think it really just depends on the style you have and if someone out there really likes it and wants it. Because as soon as I listed this, someone bought it and they were really excited to get it. And so they just have a lot of unique graphic knitted design pieces. And pretty much if they're a good price and maybe not a super small size, I would pretty much always grab it at the bins and maybe even at a regular Goodwill in the larger sizes. Okay, next up, these were a brand I've never heard of. I got these from the bins. They just looked interesting and nicer quality. The brand was called Jambies, and they actually were selling for like $20 to $30 a pair. They were just a pair of sweatpants. These were men's. They were like fleece lined, super soft sweatpants, and these sold in probably a month for $25. I was pretty happy with that. Definitely something to remember. Sold a pair of Brooks for $25. I see Brooks all the time at the bins, but I'm trying to be a little pickier with the condition and get ones that I know can clean up and look fairly nice, like these ones did. And so yeah, these sold for $25 in probably about a month's time. Next up, a kind of unique piece I picked up at the bins is Winlar Vintage Kaftan Moo style cover up. And this sold in just a couple days for $15. Very lightweight and airy, so didn't pay a lot for it grabbing at the bins. This is just the kind of thing that I'll usually throw in my cart and at least look it up because it's just so funky that I know somebody out there probably wants it. Okay, an example of just a bread and butter sale. This is just a Columbia PFG long sleeve fishing vented shirt. I grab these all the time. These are like the one Columbia thing that I consistently always grab is their PFG line, these kind of shirts, and then they also have like pants and shorts and stuff that are kind of like the same material. So I definitely always grab those, and I can usually get $10 to $15 a piece for them. This one sold in literally just like a week for $15. Next up, okay, I put these on here just to show you that even in the dirtiest, like worn condition, like with these icky spots, Hokas are just always worth grabbing. These were so bad. I actually grabbed them thinking like, I want to see how clean I can get them. And so I tried really hard, but I could not get these like brown like spots off no matter what I tried. I think they might have been like oil or something. But the bottoms weren't super worn though. So I grabbed them and cleaned them up as best I could and got them listed, and they sold in just a couple days for $18. And they came from the bins, so I mean, I can't complain. They sold quickly and someone's gonna wear them and be happy with them. So there's that. And I had like no good Poshmark sales for this week, but I found a couple on Mercari to show you. This is a Figs top. I'm always looking for this scrub brand. It's so hard to find. Has like the little plus sign. I almost never find them. But this one I found at Goodwill. And so I did pay like $5 for it. But it honestly sold so fast for $15 that I really, like, I honestly would still probably pick them up again for $5. Like, it literally sold in like 2 days. And it had so much interest for just a basic white scrub top. So definitely something to keep an eye out for. Next up, I had these loaded. Okay, this was just a basic bins pickup. I pick up a lot of the women's Landon swimsuits, but I don't really pick up the men's. But I saw these at the bins. They were brand new with tags. So I grabbed them and I sold both pairs of them. There were 2 pairs for $10 to $15 each within the first week. So just an example of something maybe you wouldn't usually pick it up, but it's brand new with tags. It's at the bins. It might be worth grabbing. Okay, next up. Okay, this was just a cool Y2K style piece I grabbed. This is by the brand Cache. It had like this beaded halter neck style. It was like 100% silk, super pretty, and in a larger size. And so I did grab that, and it had a lot of interest in it, and it sold pretty quickly for $20. And I really think I could have held out and got more like 30 to 35 at least for it, but I was fine selling it quickly, especially when my sales are slow, a lot more lenient and open to offers. So yeah, that's that for the what sold for the week. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Maybe learned a couple new brands or something just like I did as I sold these pieces. And yeah, I hope you guys have a blessed day. I'll be back soon with some more videos.